Hey guys, I'm back with a new video. In this video, let us learn about shadows. So in CSS, we can add a shadow around elements using the box-shadow CSS property. So in order to demo this, let us create a new file inside the CSS basics folder and name it as shadows.html. And let us also create a CSS file for it. Let's name it as styles.css. So let us head over to shadows.html. So in here, let us quickly scaffold our basic HTML boilerplate. So exclamation, press tab, and give the title as shadows in CSS. So right here, let us define a div with the class of element. So dot element, press tab. Let us now link our styles.css file to our HTML file and then define a couple of CSS rules in there. So link styles.css. So head over to styles.css and let us target the div with the class of element and give it a width of 300 pixels, a height of 300 pixels, a linear gradient, so linear gradient to from top to bottom, right, aqua gold, and a border of 2 pixels, solid brown. So let us give this a preview to see how this looks. So this is how it looks. Now to add a shadow around this div, we can use the box-shadow property here to define a couple of values. So let us set the box shadow property. Now the first value is the horizontal distance of the shadow to the element. So for the first value, if you use a positive value, then the shadow will move to the right, else it will move to the left. Okay, so if the first value is negative, then the shadow will move to the left. Otherwise, if the first value is positive, it will move to the right. So let us say we want the shadow to move to the right, and let us take the first value as 6 pixels. Now the second value represents the vertical distance of the shadow to the element. So for the second value, if you use a positive value, then the shadow will move down. Else, if you use a negative value, then the shadow will move up. Make sense? So let us take the second value as 8 pixels. Now before we complete the description for our box shadow property, let us give this a preview to see how this looks. So here you can see we are getting a shadow around our element which is 6 pixels to the right and 8 pixels down, right? So let us go back to our CSS. Let us give our shadow some color. So we can again give the color in any way. So we can specify an RGB value or a hex code or just the color name. So let us give the shadow of light gray. So use the hexadecimal code of #CCC and let us take a look. So this is how it looks. Now we can also specify the third value using which we can add blur to our shadow. So let us give this a value of 10 pixels and let us see what we get. So this is how it looks. So this is how we can add shadows to our elements. Now let us see how we can add a shadow to text. So for this, let us add an h2 element right inside our HTML file. So right here, let us add an h2 element and add some dummy content to it. So lorem 10, say lorem 5. And now let us add some shadow to our h2 element. So for adding a shadow to text, we can make use of the text-shadow CSS property. So let us target our h2 element and give it a text-shadow property. So let us give the text a color of aqua and set the text shadow to -6 pixels, 8 pixels, 10 pixels, and #CCC. So we want the shadow around the h2 element to be 6 pixels to the left, 8 pixels down. Then we want a blur of 10 pixels and the color of shadow to be light gray. So let us give this a preview to see how this looks. So this was all I wanted to cover about shadows in CSS. If you liked the video, do give it a thumbs up or comment down below if you have any query. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and I will see you guys in the very next one.